This video is Patterns Everywhere by Lisa Varchol Perron, and this is signed to me because I know Lisa. She is also a local picture book author, and we met actually at Blue Bunny Bookstore when Nancy Tupperling put together a panel about you want to make a picture book. And that's the first time I met her. And then we're both members of the Writers Loft, which is like 45 minutes from me. They moved, I forget the city now. And then we're both in the new anthology, poetry anthology. The Writers Loft put a book together every year, an anthology with writers and illustrators, and it's quite an undertaking and all volunteer run. And I submitted for the first time like poems. Mine were 3 haiku, and then I was in like a crit group just for that anthology. I was in a crit group twice, and Lisa gave the best feedback. Like, she's amazing. She's such a good writer. She writes beautiful lyrical poetry. I mean, I'm just like so impressed with her. But and she had 2 books at her book event that I went to, and this is how I got my book signed. And both of her books are in rhyme. And this one is about patterns in nature. So she has kind of this cool thing where she has a rhyme on the left-hand side of the spread. Like, for example, step outside, let's find designs, branching, cracking, spirals, lines. Search the earth, the seas, the air. Patterns, patterns everywhere. She's so good at like poetry and rhyming. And then she has a sidebar to the right, and that just gives you a little bit more information, because this is a nonfiction. I would say like nonfiction picture book. It's a little bit like a nonfiction narrative in that there is a story. There's a rhyming story, but you also get more information, and all the everything is a photograph that complements her poem. And she's found some amazing patterns I wouldn't have noticed or thought of, like ridges and valleys. Like, it wouldn't have occurred to me like those are patterns. I would have thought they were more irregular. And sand dunes as well, and rivers making patterns. So I just think I think this concept is actually so important, because I learned that children before preschool, even, or like before kindergarten, they need to be exposed to all these different types of math concepts. And if they are exposed to math concepts like patterns, like perspective, near and far, like these sort of like more like I would say intuitive math concepts, then they literally will score higher in standardized tests, both in elementary school, middle school, and high school. It literally is a predictor for how they will understand and succeed in math. And she did the most amazing like children's book event with a bunch of I think they were like preschool or maybe kindergartners, where she read part of the book, but then she also just taught them intuitively what patterns are by using egg shakers and having different kids make up whatever kind of sound, and then turning all the different sounds into one long chain of repeated patterns, and then also using the egg shaker colors to show how you can put them into patterns, and then also just pointing out these patterns in nature. Because I mean, my dad was a math professor. His research area was number theory and topology, and math literally is just patterns. Like, you find patterns, and then you get mathematical equations that simulate those patterns. And so it might seem like something simple, but just knowing that patterns exist, finding them in nature, and knowing how to create patterns, you're teaching your children or other kids a powerful mathematical concept for STEM that will serve them well their entire life. And the sooner that they learn them, it kind of just sets them up for success. It teaches them math in a way that they can connect with it. It's not abstract. It's it's all around them. These are columns, like in nature, like lava when it dries. Like, again, like I wouldn't have thought of it as a pattern. This is not something most of us, have in our neighborhoods or parks, that we're even exposed to. For me in Boston, we do get snow, but we don't always think to look at this when the snow comes down nice and fluffy, to take the time to say, like, oh my gosh, each one is a snowflake, and look at the pattern. So this is a kind of book that just, it just kind of flips the switch. It makes you notice things in nature that you wouldn't normally, and then relate it into a pattern, and then find similarities like this, like a conch shell and a fiddlehead fern. And then once you notice that, it's an easy hop, skip, and a jump to a mathematical equation. And so it's just like this simple book, which is beautiful, easy to read because it rhymes, full of information, is like the secret to unlocking STEM for children. Honestly, it's worth every penny. So thank you for watching. Thank you to Lisa for being such an inspiration, and also for signing this book.